Just kind of like those artificial lights do in schools. They wanted to dim you down so that you wouldn't be as aware because you always have been awake.
If we approach the thing that's going to help us as if we need its help, then we lens our perception into the place where we think we're broken and we need that help. And I'll give you a little nugget.
The point is that consider that ADHD was made up by the pharmacists.
But now they're just calling it neurodivergent. You notice they've just classed it neurodivergent. Divergent from what? Divergent from a control mechanism of non-reality, and divergent into the true reality, which is our wholeness and the perfection of the entire universe.
Because your brain makes all these connections that before you were more fractalized about.
If you're going to use a plant medicine to help you experience that and bring you to a new level of awareness and experience, that's what it's there for.
I realized that they were all a permission slip.
I know there's Starseed fans in here as well. So the Arcturians heavily contributed to a lot of the plant medicines for the purpose of awakening.
Like the wisdom in the universe starts flowing through you. It's so cool.
You want to open the rest of your chakras in a balanced structure before you open the third eye, or you wander around in what you might have heard called spiritual psychosis.
Greetings, luminous souls, and welcome to the 99 Infinite Supply Club. We have one amazing treat of an episode for you to tune into today, and I invite you to stay till the end. You're not going to want to miss a bit of this. All right, let's dive right in.
But the point is that consider that ADHD was made up by the pharmacists, and just consider that they labeled you as something to give you a solution, and maybe you were just hyper aware. You were already tuned in to your senses, and that you already came with everything that you need, and so they wanted to sort of dim you down, just kind of like those artificial lights do in schools. They wanted to dim you down so that you wouldn't be as aware because you always have been awake. Let's consider that.
Beautiful perspective.
Truth.
Pure silence. I got nothing. You are absolutely right. And
Perfect truth.
Around that, I've never liked the label. And it's so interesting that you said your ex-wife liked to be labeled that way, because I don't like it at all. I don't want that label attached to me in any way, shape, or form, because I actually think that whatever this awareness is my superpower.
About what these labels cause. And I want to just share real briefly about what I do. I do something called the reality creation process. I didn't write it, but it flows through my being, and it's what I do. And in that work, I help people understand that they're not broken, that there is wholeness of the soul. We touched on this earlier. There is wholeness of the soul. And these labels get people thinking in terms of I'm broken and I need something outside of me, whether it be a religion, whether it be drugs, whether it be anything. That's going to fix me, whether it be a doctor, whether it be a therapist, whether it be a Reiki session or a healer or even the quantum modalities. If we approach whatever that's going to help us with something, and this ties back to your question about plant medicines. If we approach the thing that's going to help us as if we need its help, then we lens our perception into the place where we think we're broken and we need that help. And I'll give you a little nugget. The only reality we can ever experience is the one that fits with inside your perceptions. So the moment you put your perceptions there, you enter a loop, and you will go to the same healer or the same therapist or the same doctor or all the doctors and all the therapists and all the healers and all the shamans, and you will never get better. It will just not happen. I have watched so many people go to self-development conferences and healers, and you put a group of people in the room, and half the group will take that information and will excel. The other half will loop and try to fix themselves with it. The half that excelled did not think they were broken and were not going to get themselves fixed or to learn something that would help them fix themselves. They just went for helpful information and executed it. The other group was trying to fix themselves and will stay in that paradigm loop forever. This is also the biggest thing that I would hope that anybody taking anyone into a plant medicine journey makes certain people understand beforehand. Because what you learn there is this through experience with the medicines. And if you enter it with the space that the medicine is something that's going to fix you, then the medicine has to battle all of that negative perception too, which is one of the hardest ones to get through. It took me a very long time to understand this, and the process was exhaustive. And if I can help anyone else not be so exhausted, that's what I'm here to do. The mental self is imperfect. And to recognize that what you have within your soul, if you're not able to utilize it, if you're not able to utilize, how your energy shows up, and your mind's all over the place, you've got all these things going on, and you're very ADHD. I've never been diagnosed ADHD, but if I look at I would be self-diagnosed. Thankfully, my mother was the type of person to not put me on any medications. She kept those far away from me. But now they're just calling it neurodivergent. You notice they've just classed it neurodivergent. Divergent from what? Divergent from a control mechanism of non-reality, and divergent into the true reality, which is our wholeness and the perfection of the entire universe, the 5D timeline. You guys know this. I can tell this whole group knows this. So when it comes to like plant medicines and any kind of medicines, marijuana, all of these things, they have their benefits. They have their place. And I wanted to answer your question about my relationship to those things. It is very much soul directed, very much higher self directed. Don't seek it. Don't go look for it. But when it's there and it's present, and it's particularly in a ceremonial space, that's the only place I will engage with plant medicines. Now, I can't say that's the only place I ever have, because my introduction to that was a little recreational side. However, there were ceremonies for medicine, for spiritual work. And I took note of that and very quickly understood that was the point of these things. So with that in mind, yes, go ahead.
Have you done ceremonies without any plant medicine?
That's my preferred.
Okay.
So that's what I facilitate. No.
Yes,
so what I facilitate is taking people into the ceremonies. So I co-founded an organization called Spirit Connect Summit. And we've hosted retreats now for 2 years, and coming up on 2 years. All of those retreats are non-plant medicines. And we take people into deep ceremonies, worked with a number of amazing facilitators who are at this level. And I got nothing against plant medicines. It's not the thing that I would ever want to facilitate. I'll never want to choose to facilitate that. My biggest medicine has been cannabis, but it became a medicine when I sat down and realized that if you talk to it and ask it, it will guide you places and show you things. So putting intention into with the plants, just like you should intention water, just like you should intention your food, you should speak to it with gratitude, to understand there's a living spirit, a living consciousness in all of this. And it's all living consciousness technology from everywhere in the universe. And I know there's Starseed fans in here as well. So like, the Arcturians heavily contributed to a lot of the plant medicines for the purpose of awakening, not for the purpose of just having a good trip, though, although it's a good trip. So use with that, but also understand what's happening with the plant medicine is it opens your perceptions wide up. And a lot of people in the spiritual community head straight into opening up the third eye, which is what plant medicines really help do. However, you want to open the rest of your chakras in a balanced structure before you open the third eye, or you wander around in what you might have heard called spiritual psychosis, and it's not a fun place to be in. And it leads down some interesting pathways. So this is why in all the ancient, the mystic schools of spiritual thought, they would walk you through a really grueling process, honestly, to get to this higher level of awareness. Luckily, today, our energy on the planet is much higher, so people can go through that process in a couple of years, a couple of months even, maybe. Whereas it was a lifetime study back then to raise the vibration of the body from where we were at to these higher levels. And if you went all the way to the third eye back then, you'd really go off the deep end if you just went straight to the third eye. So recognize that the plant medicines really open the third eye a lot. And so the more spiritual tools we can have before you enter into those spaces, the better. The more equipped you can be with meditation modalities, any other modality of working with energy before you step into that space is even better. And to do so with a shaman that understands wholeness, and a shaman that will tell you about wholeness before you go into the ceremony. Because here's one of the factors that can limit these spaces is when the people facilitating think they are fixing people and they don't understand the medicine they're working with. And if you find anyone of that nature, just run and stay away, because they don't understand the medicine they're working with. And this is where I've seen this go to dark places that take a lot of time for people to untangle themselves from. So this is the advice that I've gathered throughout my journey with these medicines that I felt drawn to share with the group. It's not really advice. It's just what I've gathered as far as how this stuff's supposed to be used. The biggest thing is you're whole, you're perfect, and staying in that. And if you're going to use a plant medicine to help you experience that and bring you to a new level of awareness and experience, that's what it's there for. But it's not there to fix you. And it won't cure your ADHD, but it can assist you. It can assist you in gaining the structure of yourself, gaining the insight with the third eye into yourself. So the plant medicine journeys are an introspective journey. When they take you inside, you get to see the structures of yourself, however you see that, and your brain, the benefits that come from the psilocybin and these kinds of things, and there's science now backing this up. This allows the brain to reorganize consciousness at an energetic level and a neurological level, creates a massive amount of neuroplasticity, and rearranges all the bits of consciousness back towards your original soul's blueprint, which is the ultimate thing we're going for, is to get your soul unpacked in its blueprint in your body, embodiment of who you are, what you are, so that we can live in the 5D, which is all here right now, not if we're scattered out all over the place. So getting yourself back into that blueprint, plant medicines can help with that. That's why people notice they help with ADHD. But approach it with recognizing that it's not fixing you, but it can support you in the experience of what your brain and body and emotions and spirit can feel like and function like when they're back in their blueprints or headed back towards their blueprints. And in that journey, we process all the things you process in those journeys, be it fear, be it love, be it joy. You process every emotion in the spectrum so that your being becomes full and open to everything in the spectrum. And the journey of the plant medicine does that in a couple minutes or a couple hours, depending on the medicine you're going with. This is what cannabis does as well. And this is why people use it to process anxiety. But interestingly enough, it can also heighten anxiety. Why? Because it puts you in a space to deal with your anxiety. And if you use it that way, and if you use it ceremonially and you speak to it and use intention and you ask the intelligence of that plant to guide your experience, and then sit down with it and meditate, oh, you'll get amazing insight from the plant. So that's my insights into plant medicines. And in terms of how I use them, it's not routine, it's not often, and it's when it's guided and there's a space and there's the people that are supposed to be there for that, and then we do. But otherwise, it's hit or miss. With cannabis, it might be not for a year. It might be not for 3 months. Then it might be I do for a month or 3 months or 6 months, and then I don't. It's all very much what the evolution of the journey needs, and where the support can come in from. So follow the intuition. That's the biggest thing. Don't look for it. And if it finds you and you feel like it's right, that's your cue. Go for it.
I love that, because intuitively, I've never felt called to it. I actually quit drinking in 2020 because I was feeling so terrible. Every time that I had it, my intuition would be all mucked up. I would also throw up every time. So, I mean, I feel like my body just rejected it. And weed has always made me really paranoid. So I'm feeling like, although this might work for my girlfriend who has ADHD, after listening to everything that you've had to say and following my intuition, I don't think that I'll be doing that. Maybe a ceremony at some point. I just don't know that I necessarily want my third eye that much more open. I'm kind of
You do want it all the way open, but you do want it all the way open. Yeah, that's how we get to where we're going. But you want it all the way open on top of a balanced chakra system, which means you got to be able to manage the entire energy of your soul in your chakra system, which most people, if I had to guess, it's probably they're living off about 5 to 10%. And even those of us that are, we've done a lot of work and we've got a significant amount of mastery over certain amounts of our energy, whatever level it is, there's very few people that are all the way unpacked, their soul all the way unpacked in here. but you got to do it in balance. And if you run straight to the third eye and you don't balance the others, the journey is just a little more nuanced. But if you put some structure into it and you work with the chakras and you give yourself the tools along the way, then you're a lot more equipped to move through those spaces. And you're going to have a better experience, but follow the intuition and let it flow.
Also, Josiah, like,
yeah,
I love everything you just said. It was super, like,
thank you.
Insightful. And I just want to say that it's more of you too, Brittany. So, like, the mother plant, ayahuasca, for example, like, has something to share with everybody that, you know, only if you feel called to it, for sure, right? Like, it's not, I've got to tell you, for me personally, was like the most transformational. If I had to give credit to any one thing, it was the most transformational experience of my life. I'm so thankful that I was
Same
in that place, in that now, for that moment.
Same.
I've also done a lot of mushrooms. Like, I've microdosed them. The microdoses turned into larger doses. I've done heroes doses. Like, I've been places that, you know, and now what I realized that they were all a permission slip. Okay.
Yes.
I can get to those states of being. I'm high now. Okay. I don't have any mushrooms or ayahuasca in my system per se, but I'm running there's something running through me that I know is not, I don't want to say it's not common, because I know everyone can have it. It's just, I know what's coming through me is special, and I honor it in every now. And so I wouldn't say don't do those things. I would say, if anything, like, when we were doing mushrooms, we just wanted to figure out how to put it in the drinking water. Like, instead of fluoride, put psilocybin in the drinking water. But and do it at your own pace. Like, you can have like a mushroom stem, you know, one night and see how you go. Like, there's no you can get this thing wrong. It's just, but know that it's more of you. It's not scary. Okay, it's not. I mean, there is something that's like distorted light. I've been there. Okay. And there's something that's like kind of distorted materialism. I've been there too. So now I choose to walk the middle path. And for me, that doesn't involve a lot of these drugs, because I've been there, I've done that. And now I'm really enjoying this middle path of experimentation that I'm in now. So there you go.
Excellent. I agree with what you're saying, Neil, 100%, because it's, for me, these journeys had some of the most profound impacts on my life. But what it did was open me up to be able to experience what we're supposed to be able to experience every day when we have our energy centers open, particularly the heart. And then once you're able to experience it, well, you can sit down and do about 3 different types of breath work in less than 2.5 minutes. I'll have the equivalent of a DMT trip. It isn't as sharp as taking a medicine externally. In fact, it's way better and it's more clear. And if the experience runs low and there's more you wanted to see, and you want to continue that conversation you're having with, you know, the higher dimensional layer of yourself, you just take a few more breaths and you're back. I highly recommend, if you want to head into this and you want to do it without plant medicines, for example, DMT breathing. And there's so many different techniques. You can look up all the different techniques for that. And this will put you in the same space if you learn how to do it. Now, if you've never done plant medicines and you head into that, you're going to be working through with the breath what you would work through with the plant medicines. Now, plant medicines can like give you a nice kick through the door to go have the experience and send you off, and can get you to let go to have the experience. It can really help you do that. And that's where the transcendental experiences that people have drop in. But you can take yourself there if you can let go and go to that same space in a breathwork session. And this is my preferred way of taking people into this journey, is with breath, with visualization, with conscious movement of energy, because we don't need the plant medicines to do it. However, there's keys there. So don't knock it. And if it shows up, and it's there for you, accept the gift universe, or the gift the universe has brought you. One thing I've noticed is it will not be in my reality unless I'm supposed to be there. Very rarely will it be present around me unless I'm supposed to engage it. And I'm surrounded by people that have it all the time, that use it all the time, but it never enters my actual space. Rarely does, unless it's time for me to engage with the medicines, which at this point, I don't know if it'll ever be again, because, well, since the last journey I had, which was some time back, I've been at a place where the last medicine journey I went on, the intelligence there, which is, you know, the intelligence of the plant, it's our intelligence, is the intelligence of what we are, the God source, actually spoke to me and said, we won't be seeing you again here for a long while, but it's been good. And we'll see you where we see you in other ways. But you're done now with the psychedelic journeys. And this is something that just tells me a lot about what the plant medicines are as well, because no synthetic anything will ever pass that message to you.
I love that you share that. Yeah, because Neil and I have ridden a similar wave, and I had all the pharmaceuticals, Adderall and Zoloft and Ambien and drinking and pain medicine, all that. And then when I, check in rehab, start meditating daily, and I was taking classes at Agape to become a licensed spiritual practitioner. And then the plant medicine came to me. It did. And since you shared that, Josiah, I was like, oh yeah, it did come to me. So that was for me. And so I did many ceremonies with intention while taking my meditation really deep, and while taking classes at Agape. And it opened up so much in my life, and it was exactly the perfect timing when I needed it and how I needed to do it. And it was just like the spiritual journey on steroids. Is just like everything just like the wisdom of the universe starts flowing through you. It's so cool. And yeah,
That's what it is.
Yeah, and you don't need it.
Mycelium's pretty great. It's the stars and the earth in one spot.
Yes. You're all of it. I'm the center of the universe.
Love.
The universe is everywhere.
So much love.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much love.
Can I loop something back around? But you go ahead and finish what you were saying about, I want to talk about the plant medicines and then what you mentioned earlier about the masculine and feminine. But go ahead, Neil.
It's just so much love. Like when you have psilocybin, okay, and you're used to like left brain world, you will just laugh your tail off. I giggled on ayahuasca, which isn't technically psilocybin. I giggled. I was in a yoga room in Boulder, okay? We had outdoors and nature. That's the other thing. If you're going to do whatever, be in nature, be grounded in nature.
Yes.
And I giggled and laughed in that yoga studio. Like I put out laughter for like at least 45 minutes, and the laughter came back. Everyone was laughing, but we were all just laughing. I mean, because your brain makes all these connections that before you were more fractalized about, and you see the other side of the wave. Everything. So this is no experience. This is flat. Okay. This is like you flatline at the hospital. Your experience here is done. Okay. But then there's a wave that goes below the line and above the line. Okay. You can't have the experience above the line without the below the line existing there. It has to do that. Right. And so when you can see the connections, it just gives you a perspective of everything that is transcendental. I practice transcendental meditation every day for at least 40 minutes, probably more than that, a couple hours maybe. And so, but you see how you create it all. And that's what the mushrooms and the ayahuasca, you are one with the creator. I am you, Brittany, and you are me. And this oneness, and the thing about ayahuasca that I like too is you're all in the same room together. You might be in there with CEOs, you might be in there with janitors, you might be in there with, it doesn't matter, old, young, you all put your pants on the same way. You all purge together. I did it on the night that the pandemic was released. So where I am. Me and my now wife, we did it together. So there was like a fear to overcome, right? Because we're all purging in this room when the pandemic is going on, and it was just like it forces you to surrender, okay? And if you're someone, I was somebody who was determined, you know, who was willing to run through walls to get the results I wanted in my life, and so even more than with mushrooms, the ayahuasca plant will surrender you.
Yes, that's for sure.
Go ahead, Josiah.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Someone once described that ayahuasca is like grandma, and she will tell it to you how it is. This is true. And yeah, but they all can be beneficial, but yeah, intuition's the big thing. But about the mycelium network, I just put together an interesting tidbit the other day. I was just pondering the nature of the universe, and many cultures that look at the sky and the stars as a masculine aspect of the creative force of the universe, and the earth as the mother and feminine aspect of the creative force of the universe, and these two energies. And went through a big shift in the last 3 weeks, just a big shift, put together so many connections, and used the mirror, doing a lot of mirror work was where this happened, using light language and working in the mirror with myself. Powerful opportunity to work with yourself in a new way. Like, treat yourself as your own client in the mirror, like you're facilitating for yourself. But an awareness was brought in about what the mycelium network does in the ground, because that's the mushroom network. It connects all the trees, it connects all the life, it keeps the data flowing between above the ground and below the ground. The trees are moving light down to the mycelium network and back and forth. The whole thing is alive. But the epiphany that was shown to me was the mycelium network is in the earth, and it merges that which is of the stars, that which is of the earth, and creates this fertile layer in which all life is born. And it's literally the merging point of the masculine and feminine energies of the universe. And the mycelium network carries it all and incubates life within the soil. And so we have beautiful earth we're in. Anyways, it's just a cool loop back to what we were talking about earlier about the fundamental energies of the universe.
The way you're describing it reminds me of how the placenta and the umbilical cord delivers all of like what life is required for a baby. It's just interesting as you're talking about it all underground. It's very similar to what I
the earth is a womb.
100%.
The earth is a womb. This is a mother, and we are the children of the galactic father and mother. I mean, it's been told over and over again. Every religion and every culture and every ancient philosophy has told us this, but we get it twisted. But here we're to get it straight. And it's cool to be in a room full of people who get it straight.
Yeah, it's the connection of all things, and then it shows you the connection of all things, because we are connected to everything and everyone, and then it's just all beautiful. I love it so much. It's like, how cool is it to be alive right now and in this earthly experience, and we chose to be here at this time because everything that's going on the planet, and we're here to be a part of it. And
we came to play, Awakening on Earth 2023.
Totally.
The big shift.
Totally.
It's
so cool.
Worth it.
Yeah. So worth it. So worth it. I love it. Love it all.
And it's happening through us all. It's happening through you.
Mm-hmm.
It's
a personal journey.
It's all you.
It's not about, the concept of raising the vibration of the planet or helping humanity, hit a higher vibe. It's not what it's about. It's about doing that for yourself, loving yourself enough to do that for yourself, and loving yourself enough to recognize the only way to actually love yourself is to support everyone else in loving themselves as well. And but you have to do it for yourself. And then when you change, you transform an internal aspect of yourself that maybe deals with frustration, and a reaction point where you get frustrated and you react in frustration and you create more frustrating things in your life, because that's what we're creating. Where our awareness goes, we create. And then you transmute that part of yourself into joy. You learn to balance that part of yourself into joy so that you're always creating joy in that area. And the next time frustration it comes in, you just create joy. And then pretty soon frustration's gone because you've just filled that space with joy. You've transmuted it all the way over. Same thing happens with external parts of self, which is all of you, all the other people. This is why when we wake up our internal self, right, other awakened souls start showing up outside of us.
I
The
will say
world,
this,
the world
though.
around us is
Oh,
the external parts of self.
okay.
Go ahead. I'm just chattering.
Sorry, I apologize. I will say this. I just want to chime in real quick. It's a sort of reminder to everyone here. Never stop being a kid. Never stop dreaming. Never stop using your imagination. Like, don't take this beautiful life game seriously. Just always have
No,
fun in the moment. You said no.
I said yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like
The-
that's something that really helps me on my journey. I always, when I'm eating, I have fun. When I'm talking to people, I always have fun. Like, I'm always a kid in every moment. But I just thought I'd share.
you got to be a
Yeah.
child again.
We are here to be and live the full human experience. This is what we came here to do. We're not here to go back to the ships or to the planets over there. We're here to embody that, which we are, all of it, into this experience of being human and having fun with it. So there's nothing wrong and there's nothing right. Everything is just is the way that you prefer it to be, you know? And if you follow that, I mean, we'll just have the most fun ever. Yeah.
And your inner child knows what lights you up. And that's
Yeah.
what those little joys from the child self lead the way. They've always led the way. But we wandered off into corporate America and this, that, and the other, and lack. And then we're back.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the 99 Infinite Supply Club. What a dynamic conversation. And thank you so much for sharing and liking and subscribing to our channel. All right. Thank you. Bless you. I love you.